York, and I'm a sophomore at Notre Dame.
So, JP, first, some questions about you.
Yeah.
So, a lot of our listeners are probably from the Midwest or not from probably from St. Louis and other places like that. So,
Yeah.
places that aren't big cities necessarily, big cities. St. Louis is a big city, but still not like to the scale of New York or Long Island.
You're
So,
correct. Oh, Long Island's not city, but
yeah, but still, like compared to St. Louis, very much city
it's a
form.
different goal. Yeah.
So,
Catch-
so So what does a weekend look like in Long Island? You're with your friends, you're in the car. Or do you even get in the car? I don't know. Do you walk? What do you do? Do you go to the baseball or not the baseball field? You don't play baseball, basketball court and play basketball? Do you just hang out in someone's room? Do you go to we normally would go to like Canes. You probably don't know what that is, and just sit
I've
and
heard
talk.
that. Yeah. That's a chicken place, right?
Yeah. So would you go to like a restaurant? Like how does it even look? I don't even know.
Well, I guess it depends on the season. I'm not, as you know, I'm not in New York during the summer, so it's a little different. So for me, I guess since I was commuting in high school, I would take a train for an hour every day there and back. So it's like a little different because when I would go out on the weekends, it was more, I had to get a place to stay or like to sleep over. It was like I couldn't really like bike or like I don't know drive myself because either like I'm like that far away and then I'm like not going to drive
Yeah.
home. And obviously for certain reasons I'm not going to say, but yeah. So I guess so I'm not really here during the summer. So I guess a lot of the famous Long Island things I don't do that often. I do live like 10 minutes from the Long Island Sound, which is the north side, which is not really like the ocean that you think of. It's part of the ocean, but it doesn't have any waves, stuff like that. So it's a different vibe. The South Shore is more famous, but
Okay. What is the Long Island Sound? I've heard of that, but I don't even know.
It's north of Long Island, so it's like right below Connecticut and like the rest of New England. So it's like the little gap between what's above us.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. All right. So next question. So the basketball in New York and Long Island is always legendary, always great players coming out of there. So who is the best player you've either played against or who you've watched play in high school, preferably? But I think you've told me this before, but I just want to remind me and for the people.
The best I've ever played against. You've never heard of him, but his name's Savion. Actually, no, the best I've ever played against his last name was Chalmers. What was his first name? Oh, I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, but it's a dope story. So I played him freshman year. He went to Christ the King, which is like this big Queens, which is part of the city. It's like a big high school for basketball. And they're freshmen.
That's where the girls team's coming from, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And so people like Lamar Odom and a bunch of big NBA stars went to Christ the King. But their freshman team is like it's like Chaminade. So all the freshmen can't play varsity. So their freshman team is better, like way better than their JV team. They're just stacked. So we played this kid. We got destroyed. We were like, it was terrible. But this kid only played in the first and third quarter, and he dropped 38 points. And I'm pretty sure he half his quarters. And it was just like he had his whole fan section too. So he'd be like dropping kids, and then he had like all his posse of like 50 dudes just like getting up and yelling. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
We not belong in this gym. Get us out of here. But he was like probably. He was a freshman, but if there was a ranking, he was up there. But probably like a month after we played him, he was shot in the leg, and he never.
Oh my
played.
Gosh!
So you see, like he had like all the highlights. He had offers. He was a freshman. He had offers from like Villanova and like all the Big East schools. And like a month later, you're like hearing about him. Oh, they're probably gonna make a run or something like that. And he gets shot like in a drive-by. Like I don't think he was affiliated with it, but
oh my gosh!
So I see him on ESPN SportsCenter sometimes, and he just like, he's like an anti-gun violence activist now. But I'm pretty sure he can walk, but he obviously can't play as well. He was shot.
Holy cow!
But he was
insane.
That's
crazy. That's crazy. Holy cow!
You had the whole town around him. Like he was like a huge big name, but I guess he didn't become that big of a name because he never played after freshman year.
Wow, that's so unfortunate. That's awful. Like that's crazy. That is a crazy story. You were right.
That is, so he's probably the best I ever played against, and he's not. No one's ever going to hear about him, which is kind of sad.
Yeah. Dang. All right. Well, that good story. Well, moving on. Another final question for you. So, your music taste is like a little bit of everything. You like EDM, R&B, all rap, trap, all kinds of stuff. So, what if you had to pick one? What would be your favorite?
Oof. You're right. I do listen to everything. I don't think I've ever listened to a genre or even like an artist and been like, wow, this is trash, or like I'll never listen to it. Like, I'm a very open mindset music listener, if that makes sense. But I guess I don't know. It's changed a lot. Like probably when I didn't really get into listening to a bunch of stuff until college. So I mean, before I was really just listening to in high school I just listened to hip hop and like popular songs. But then probably my favorite. I like alternative a lot, but I mean that's like a really broad.
Yeah. Well, alternative rock, I guess, right? Is that what you mean?
Like alternative pop, kind of.
Okay.
Makes sense. But yeah, that's probably my favorite. But I do like.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't like to confine myself into a genre.
No, yeah, it changes. You like something one day, it's different the next. Yeah,
my least favorite genre is country, though. But I do like country. But
okay.
I would never. I rarely ever put it on myself, but I will enjoy it if it's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. It's yeah, definitely. All right.
The time and the place. But.
All right, JP. Now let's do the movie. How about that?
Yeah, let's go. My movie is Housebound.
The movie for this week was Housebound. Housebound is by Gerard Stone. Famous for Housebound. I don't think I couldn't find much else about the dude. So
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's a New Zealand film, a horror comedy film. JP, would you like to first explain how the heck you found this movie? I'm still wondering. I don't know, and why you chose it for your movie today.
Yeah, so it's probably the most obscure movie I've ever watched. I don't know how I found it, but the first time I've seen it probably 3 or 4 times. It's
what? Dang, okay.
I think it came out in like 2014. I don't know. You probably looked it up, but I probably watched it a couple of months after it came out. But I watched it with my sister and my dad the first time, and I'm pretty sure my sister watched it with one of her friends or something like that. She came home and was like, "Oh, like this is like a fun movie to watch. Like, why don't we just turn it on?" And like we grew like a weird obsession to the movie. We thought it was so funny, and like my dad doesn't know like the names of any movies that he sees. But he remembers saying, I'm not going to spoil anything. I mean, it's really
yes. Good call. I don't want to spoil anything this time.
But there's he sometimes just quotes stuff in the movie, and it's hilarious. And he probably couldn't even tell you the name of the movie, but he remembers. You say a character, he's like, "Oh, let's go." It's like we should watch.
Dang. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I went into it with pretty low expectations, just based on the everything around it, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. So I guess would you like to give a little your thoughts on the movie? Obviously, you like it quite a bit.
I do like it. I don't know why I like it, but I think it's just an overall entertaining movie. It's not even. It's not like a high budget, really cool scenes or anything like that.
Very, very much not high. There's one scene where they're on the roof that looks like they are not on a roof at all. It looks like it's just a background. It looks like they're on a slant. Yeah.
You gotta have a little imagination, I guess. But
no, I don't think it was that. It didn't really detract from it. It was just sometimes I would look at it and I'd be like, that is just so fake. But yeah, continue. Yeah. Sorry.
I think the reason why we enjoyed it so much is it combines so many different genres. You don't really know what's going on, but it's just pure entertainment. I've seen it 3 times and I have not been unentertained or bored the whole time. So I guess the first time I saw it, I thought it was extremely, I don't know, I was probably 14, 13. I was like, oh, this is a horror movie. And we watched it at 10 p.m. and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of scary. And then we just jump scare each other and just yell out in the living room. But then every time I watch it again, it's really just for the comedic aspect. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll reference a lot of things, but
it's
good. I'd recommend it because it just, you won't be bored. It may not be like the most crazy movie, but it'll be entertaining for sure.
So I'll just give a little spiel of what I thought of it real quick so you understand where I'm stand. So I actually really liked it. I like surprisingly liked. I wouldn't say it was like one of the best horror films or comedy films I've ever seen, but like I thought the first like 30 minutes or so was really it was really like horror kind of focused, and I like definitely was getting like a little chills, but I was still not totally into the movie. Then the next 30 minutes I thought was like completely comedy, and I was just like, what is going on? And then the final like 45 minutes, I don't know how long this movie is, so I'm probably way off here. But like the final like 45 minutes were like I thought was awesome. Like it was like because it'd be like a super intense scene, and then the freaking mom would say some stupid nag, and I would just start dying. It was ridiculous. And I also thought the mom and this daughter, I have their names here. It's like Morgana O'Reilly and Rima Tewiata, like two no names at all. They were pretty good. Like I thought they had good chemistry, especially at the end. Just like super intense scenes where the mom would start nagging her and then she would just keep throwing remarks back. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, definitely the highlight to me.
This is a New Zealand film, right? I'm pretty sure I looked it up. I have no idea where it's from. It's so random. Yes. I think it used to be on Netflix. I'm pretty sure that's why we found it. Then it's not anymore. Probably for good reason. But
when I was looking up about it, it was like on a bunch of like underrated horror films on Netflix things. So I think, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. I don't even know how we watched it last time, but maybe
now it's on Tubi now, which is like a free website.
That's what we watched it on. We were so confused. We're like, oh, like maybe we'll have to pay for something, and then we just clicked it and started playing the movie. And we're like, all right, let's go.
No, I will say, JP, the only thing I didn't love about this movie was, without giving anything away, was the bad guy. I didn't really understand him at all, nor why he did what he was doing, or like, I don't know. I get. I mean, I think I kind of get it. Like, it's hard to not spoil this. So we won't. I guess we shouldn't talk on this topic. Yeah, but basically, that was my only problem was the bad guy.
There's no way to describe it without spoiling it.
Yeah.
So I think you have a reason for it, but it's really the main plot of the whole movie. So
yeah, he was. I thought. I think that. I don't know. I think I really liked their execution of the movie. I just didn't love like. It seemed very all over the place. Like very all over the place. Like so some of the stuff that happened, I was just like, I have no idea how like we got here, but the like ride was awesome. Like I enjoyed the whole time.
No,
like I just don't know what's going on, but it was awesome. So
yeah, there is a plot, and maybe it's not the best plot, but I don't know. It keeps you engaged the whole time. It doesn't. It may not be. It's probably very stereotypical too. Like some of the things that happen, like oh wow, I've seen this in like 5 other horror movies before. But if they do it right. They keep it. I don't know if they do it right, but it still isn't like wow, like this again. It's a little fresh.
When I was reading reviews, I read one that said, and of course I read reviews after because if you read them before, they'll spoil. You don't do that. But that's so hypocritical because I just made 2 videos with spoilers in them. But regardless, when I was reading reviews, one of them said was that the movie is like excellent, or it is like uses all like scares and plots that like old movies have used, except it just does it really well. And I thought that was a good like explanation. Like I've seen like all the kind of scares in there, but like everyone was like, it got me every time. So
yeah, that's it. For me. I feel like a lot of people like my favorite part of horror movies are jump scares, and people are like, oh, a good horror movie is when they don't overdo it and they like have all these effects, but like honestly, like there aren't enough jump scares. It's not that scary. I'm like, I don't find like spirits and all that like that creepy. It's just like if I'm watching a movie, like unless something jumps out at you, I'm not going to be that scared. But if there is, I'm like, whoa. But just the general idea, not really. Like that. I feel like we watched them last year. It was like, oh, that was all right. Like it was more
Hereditary.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but there were still spots like that. But what's the one where
that one needed that? I think those kind of like scares where it's a feeling less than a jump. I think those need like Hereditary. When I saw it in theater, it was way better because it needed the feeling of like the like everything you were like trapped in there.
I
But
agree.
I think I understand what you're saying.
It's the same thing with what did we watch last year? Did we watch The Conjuring? Is that the same thing where there aren't really any jump scares in that movie? Well, not
I've never seen The Conjuring.
Okay, I think Logan watched it last year. But
I think you did because you guys went on a binge of just like
you did.
tons of movies.
Yeah, so I think we did. But I mean, only as a spoiler saying there aren't many jump scares, but I don't think there were.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. All right. Let's give final number reviews. We're gonna start giving out like numbered 1 through 10 reviews. JP, go ahead. What is your review on this one?
What did I say? I'm pretty sure I said like 8.9 or something like that, right?
8.9. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean it's a little elevated.
It's what if you liked it that much, that's what you liked it.
I don't rank movies on how good they are. It's more of the feeling, the objective feeling. So that's what I'm going with because it's one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen.
Perfect. Like I think this like movies that you watch over and over, like that you just love always will be up to like I don't think The Dark Knight is like one of the best movies ever, but I love it. Like and I would give it like a super high score. Yeah. So I think that's a fair score.
Also for this, I feel like there's some added value when no one knows about it too. When you're like the only one, especially like with music or something, or it's like you love this one song and no one else knows it. It's like even if it's not that good, you're gonna like it even more than
it's like yours. Yeah. I totally understand that. So I gave this a 6.8. Since this is the first numbered review I have, I didn't know where to start. So I really like this movie, but I had issues with it. So I thought that was a good hey, like watch it. It's good, but it's not like my favorite, you know? I mean, so
for a foreign horror movie that was kicked off Netflix, it's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
My music is East Atlanta Love Letter by Black.
This album we're talking about is East Atlanta Love Letter by Black. That's 6 Slack, if you'd like to call it that way, or whatever you want to call it. And it's his second album, and it is the follow-up to, I don't even know what the first one's actually called. Oh, Free Black, which you might know his songs X-Callin', Problems, Never Know. Those are some of his big ones. And then he has a couple big ones off this album as well, as he's kind of transitioned to a almost pop star, I would say. So I guess if you'd like to start, JP, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
How did you come across this album? Why did you pick this album? Let's hear it.
How did I come across it? Probably the first song I ever heard from him was X-Calling. That was probably 4 or 5 years ago whenever it came out. But that's something we were just like bumping the car in the Eels when we were just around the lake. But like we probably listened to it at least like 50 times in the summer.
Absolute banger. Totally understandable.
Like I don't even know how we found it, but that's why I first listened to him. And initially I was like, I remember thinking like, who is 6 Slack? Like, what is this dude? Like, I'll probably never hear him again. And then I'm pretty sure I listened to this when it came out. I think 2 years ago, last year.
Last year. It was last year, or when we were in freshman year.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Okay, so I mean, just in general, I don't know if I've listened to it like many times. I don't know if I love it as a whole album. There's just certain songs that just jump out at me. I mean, I don't know if we want to talk about this yet, but there are. I feel like.
Go ahead. Talk about whatever.
Yeah, I mean, so just starting off, like the song "Switch" it's probably like my favorite song of the whole year. It's I don't know why you've heard me play it a lot, but
oh yeah,
I don't even know why I like it so much. But it's definitely by far my most played song, and I don't know if it really fits in. Like if people say like, "Oh, judge an album like how it fits in," I don't even know. I don't really judge the album off that. But there's certain songs which I never really listened to it as a whole. So I guess I don't know if I'm gonna rate the whole album. I'm gonna rate it based off of the certain songs, but.
That's fine. I guess I did want to talk about that later. So, but for now, let's just stick with the album. But as far as what songs, I guess you like Switch. Are there any other ones that stand out to you as?
The first song, "Unfair," is a banger. It's like a late night slow vibe. There's an extended version that's even better, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure it's more popular too. But it's just like adding like. Unnecessary.
I think there's a feature on that one as well, isn't there? Or is that
no, I don't think so. He came out with.
Then I'm off course.
Maybe I don't think so though. But I think he released that with another song too. It was like this small 2-package song thing. But no, that song's really good. That's good for the late night vibe, you know.
Yeah.
So is Stan, which is also
Oh
very.
yeah, you always play that song.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
It's pretty unique too. It doesn't really sound like the rest of it because a lot of people critique him for being monotone and just like sounding all the songs on his thing, which I kind of get sometimes. Like there's some filler songs in here. I'm like, I'll probably never listen to these by themselves.
Yeah.
But in general, that song is. I think he tries to do something a little different, especially in the beginning. It's kind of cool if anyone wants to listen to it.
Yeah.
But,
it has a great beat and awesome. Like I don't even know what that noise is, but it's very, very sick.
So good. And then he has good features too, which is another thing that stuck out to me. So I mean,
the J. Cole feature I think is awesome.
J. Cole's dope. Yeah.
I don't always love J. Cole features, but I think he kills that one very good.
Yeah. I don't really listen too much to J. Cole. I listen to a lot of his features, but that's the same thing with Black too. I think most of the songs I listen to mine, besides these songs, are features. He's on a lot of songs.
Yeah. So I guess my little spiel on it is I was a huge fan of his first, not a huge fan. I was a big fan of, just like you, of some of the songs on his first album. Like I think Problems is an absolute fire banger. X-Con, same thing. Never Know, and then Getting Old is like one of my favorite songs, R&B songs in general. And like that one's just as awesome. But on this album, I think this album's so totally different from his first album. His first album is very like weird, and like X-Con is like the most normal of the songs, I'd say. The rest is just a weird album with weird sounds and weird whatever. This one seems kind of like a less risky version, not in a terrible way, but definitely like I like you said, some people critique his monotone and like boringness, I guess.
I think people also say he's gone too mainstream or something like that, which I don't like that argument. We can talk about that later, but
yeah,
I'm not a big fan when people say that. But
yeah, it's not. So my thing is not that he's gone too mainstream. It's that it's some of his music kind of lost its flair to it. But that being said, I don't think this album is necessarily any worse than his first album. I just think because I think when he hits hard, but when he like doesn't, it just is like very boring, and you're just like true. This doesn't have much to it. Yeah, but some songs I like on it. Switch obviously is just. I actually hated that song when it came out because I was hyped for his new album. Then that came out, and I was like, I hate that song. But then you and my friend Jacqueline were obsessed with it and kept playing it, and then I got obsessed with it, and then I kept playing it. So now it's like one of my favorite songs in the album. Pretty Little Fears with J. Cole. Loaded Gun, I think, has a great hook. Same with Let Her Go. I like Sorry. I like Nonchalant. And then my favorite on the album, this is going to be a total sleeper pick, is Thugger's Interlude, which is like it's like a minute long, but he just goes, I don't know, his like verse on that goes off. Like I feel like his like lyricism in that song is amazing. I love the like droney beat going on. I don't know, probably most people have not even heard this song, so it's probably just like
I mean I've listened to it before, but it's not something that stands out to me. Does it have some connection to Young Thug, or is it supposed to be about him or something?
Yes, he says like the refrain, even though it's not really a refrain, he says like I've been listening to Young Thugger kind of. So I think that is the like connection, but yeah. So but anyways, as a whole, I do think this is a good album. I think it's just the same as his first album, where I like love the songs I love, but the songs I don't, I'm like, all right, whatever. But I will still like when he drops another album, I'm gonna be right there listening to it at the start because I look for those great songs that he does produce.
Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead.
No, I agree. You're good.
Okay, so then I would like to dive into what you said earlier about how you are not a big Alvin guy, and I knew this from before. You've always said you kind of listen, pick apart songs, and actually when I asked you originally to be on the show, you're like, I don't really know what album I want because there's not many albums that I like listen to like that. So one question I would have for you is, so when I like find new music, I almost exclusively listen to like entire albums. I'll listen to singles when they come out, but like if I'm gonna judge like some, I don't know, if I'm going to judge some new like band I like or whatever, I'll listen to like their newest album and see it all the way through. So I'm just curious, like I don't think there's any problem with how you're doing it. I'm just curious, like, how does that work? How do you pick which songs you're listening to and find these ones?
Yeah, I guess I'm the exact opposite. So when I just like look at random people on Spotify, I don't think I've ever listened to their whole album unless like I've become huge fans of them. It's usually I just listen. I just listen to like their most famous songs, then I go into like farther into that to see what else there is. But I've never, especially like, some people listen to, they're like, oh, you have to listen from the first song to the last song. I know people like Frank Ocean, like it's important to do that, but I don't do that for almost anyone. But so I guess I find songs and I also make playlists. Like people are like, oh, what's your favorite album? Like I have favorite playlists that I make. I don't listen to albums, like in a sense. So that makes sense. So I think
that does make sense. Yes.
It's better to, I don't know. People see albums as like a piece of art. Obviously it is, but I don't know. I think creating my own, like a certain vibe.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
I think that probably you're in line with the majority of like the listeners we'll have on here and like just like people in general, because like listening to an album is like an investment, and like if it sucks, then you just spent an hour listening to trash and you're just like, this is so stupid, I hate this. And then, so I think I don't think there's anything wrong with the way you do it. I just think it's another approach, and probably in some ways more effective, in some ways less. So.
Yeah, I see both.
It's obviously, as long as it's effective to how you want to listen to music, it doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, because I feel it's just so hard to find complete albums that are that good, and maybe it's also because I don't listen to complete albums. So maybe there are like really perfect pieces, but I usually just pick apart songs. So yeah,
true. I will say the only thing I think it would be different, but it seems that I'm normally this person. Like for instance, with the new 1975 album, with that one, what's the song? If You're Too Shy or whatever.
Yeah, you didn't like it.
This happens to me a lot, where I hate a song when it comes out. Like I'll think it's like utter trash, but then like I'll listen to it in the context of the album and I'll like it. So I think that's something I gained from it. But obviously, you liked those songs already, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
I think that happened with their last album too. You liked. I forget what the song was. You liked Two Time or whatever, didn't you? Before.
Yeah, I liked all of them.
Yeah, I didn't like that song before, but then I liked it once it came in the album. So maybe that's just a difference of like how we like music. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think I ever really appreciate. I don't know if that's a good thing to say, but I don't think I've ever listened to a whole album and then appreciated it more, like the songs itself.
Yeah.
It's probably not what the artist intends, but that's what I do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if that's what you do.
I like the songs one by one. I don't listen to them in order, but I do sometimes, but that's not why.
Hey, nice shout out of the name of the show, by the way, One by One. That's the name of the show is One by One, and you just nice. All right.
But no, another thing that's probably different. I don't know if I'm different. Well, I feel like a lot of our friends, specifically some of them, they're like on the opposite side of the spectrum where they're like anti-popular music.
Yeah.
It's like a pet peeve of mine is when people, I prefer non-popular music, but I still listen to popular music. And when I guess one thing that's kind of, I don't understand is when people use someone's popularity in an argument against them. I'm like, how can someone being popular make them worse of an artist? Like, yeah, I just don't understand. And also, it's also a point of like making, I think, music like so subjective. So it doesn't. I don't think. Yeah. I know when people are like, oh, I don't like them. I don't like this. Like, I know you don't like a bunch of people, but yeah, like Ed Sheeran.
I don't like Ed Sheeran. But I think that's a good point. I think that but I don't like him for a lot of other reasons. But I'm not going to go into that right now. I don't want to, just because that just makes me mad. But anyways, I think that's a good point. I think that people do sometimes use both ways. They'll use their popularity as a means of saying they're good, which I think is just wrong. Like to me, if like I don't like, I've said in the last couple episodes, I don't like Post Malone that much. But, like, I respect that he's able to get, like, a lot of people like him, and I respect his ability to get people to enjoy his music. But I just don't think it's good, in my own opinion. So I think there's no like, way to – using popularity doesn't help for your argument. And I agree that I think the reason people do that, where they say because they're popular they're not as good, is because not often, but it can have the effect that when they become popular, they like just continue to use the same formula kind of thing. Like I
Yeah.
kind of think that it's my opinion that Drake has started to do that, especially with his last album that he just dropped, or the mixtape or whatever he called it this time. But I think that doesn't make him. First of all, I guess I need to go back. Hold on. Or no, I'll do this. I'm going to have a whole episode on Drake of me just talking about Drake. Because after that thing I said last time with Pete, I just need to clear my thoughts on it because it's still eating at me. But anyways, I guess my point has not been anything at this point. I've been just talking in circles. Basically, I'm saying what you're saying. Popularity doesn't matter for good or bad. That's it. You just take the mic. I can't.
I kind of disagree, though, because I think it could help with the good. I don't think someone should be – if they're popular, they're automatically good. I don't think that's true. But I think it's part of the equation still. Because when people are like, oh, like a musical genius, they're like really different and they're unique and stuff like that. But I think having the ability to be, I know you don't like Post Malone, but the ability to be the most famous artist in the whole world, like you kind of have to be a musical genius. Like maybe he has like a very simple and set structure of all his songs, but like, he found that sweet spot, and even if like he's not changing it up, like he's a genius for finding that, and he's like
true.
So I think you shouldn't ignore someone being popular. Like maybe they're not automatically good, but if someone can become that big of a name, like obviously he's talented, and people are like, oh, like he's just popular, he's not talented. I'm like, you kind of have to be talented, even if it's like not your version of talented, but you gotta have talent. You know what I mean?
True. I think even I agree with that. Even if you don't like their music, you can still respect them for what they're able to do and how they're able to get a mass amount of following and a mass amount of people to like their music. I think that's a great point, JP. Very true.
Yeah. No.
Well, JP, unless you have any, or I guess we need to rate this album. You said you can rate it based on songs. Maybe you can do like there's 6 out of 10 songs I like it's 6.0 or something. But
okay.
Just throw out a number and the people will judge you based on it. So go ahead.
For the song Switch exclusively, we're going like 9.5. Like the 4 or 5 other songs that I like below that, like a 8.4, and then like the rest probably like a 5.3.
All right, so if we group that all together, what are we looking at? Like a
8.1, kind of.
8.1. All right, perfect. We got a number out of you. That's perfect. All right. I love that. All right, I was gonna say for this one, I have a very similar rating. I give this one to my rating of the movie. I give this one a 6.5. I'm gonna lower that right now. I'm gonna give it a 6.1.
All right.
I think I would give both of his albums around a 6. But I think that's a good starting point for all the other music we'll review. But I also think just like I said, the high points are great, the low points are not so great to me. But I will definitely be listening to his music as he goes forward because I think he's definitely one to watch because he definitely has shown that he can make fantastic 9.5 songs.
Yeah. Also,
thank you, Jake. Oh wait, what were you saying? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was closing up, so you gotta get it out.
I was gonna mention, I forgot to tell you this, but I read some article probably yesterday. There's a new podcast system on Spotify that they're creating that's video, which sounds kind of cool. So
okay, I'm looking into this and I'm putting mine up first. Thank you, JP. So that's actually huge.
The first show is Joe Rogan. And I think he was the first one they're allowing to do this. So he just exclusively signed with Spotify. So he has video podcasts now.
So I knew he was doing the official like exclusive with Spotify, but I did not realize it was on video. So
So that's a new.
If it is, then catch this episode on Spotify. I guess everyone. It will be on video on Spotify now. Awesome.
I think it's only for him, but be ready.
Okay, yeah. Be ready. JP's coming at you. Be ready.
Some more editing for you, but it's
yeah. Oh well. All right, JP. Thank you. This is great. Got some good talks about movies, music, Long Island, everything about JP you want to know. Thank you. Peace.
Peace out.